very start, we knew this game...
This grand final would be something special.
Stevie Gorica and Sydney FC have won the championship.
It was good, very good.
But it was just the beginning.
Bridge! Oh, brilliant! Advantage Jets in the grand final.
Over 10 seasons, we've seen it all.
Some decided clinically.
Others divided opinion.
Penalty! Controversy at the death.
Was it a penalty? Of course it was a pen.
Not sure about that at all.
But look at what's been created.
He's missed. Would you believe it?
There's been heroes.
Villains. And of course, legends.
Thompson! It's 5 for Archie Thompson.
In equal shares, these deciders provide euphoria and despair.
And at times, redemption.
One headed to the back of the net by Patrick Svansbeek. And finally, the Central Coast Mariners have a championship at last.
The records show one team stands above the rest.
The masters of this pressure cooker.
Brisbane Roar, champions of Australia for a record 3rd time.
But now another team will match that mark. When the lights go down on season 10,
Which one will be crowned champion?
Yes, wherever you're watching around the world, a warm welcome to Amy Park in Melbourne. This is grand final day, Melbourne Victory versus Sydney FC. The nation's 2 biggest cities, arguably the 2 biggest clubs, and what has been billed as the biggest blue 2. Melbourne or Sydney, an argument that rages all the way back to Federation. An Australian Prime Minister once said, if you're not living in Sydney, you're just camping out. Melburnians counter that sun and beauty rarely coexist with intelligence. It's that sort of rivalry that has really flourished in the A-League era. They met, of course, down the road at Etihad Stadium 5 years ago in the decider, Sydney FC winning on penalties that day. And while there has been consternation at playing at this smaller venue, the atmosphere today will be unrivaled. And we've got more outside at the live fan festival too, all eager to be part of this very special day. The big question is who plays the key roles on the pitch. Here are the answers. Melbourne Victory are unchanged from the team that saw off Melbourne City in the semi-finals. Goalkeeper Lawrence Thomas, born in Sydney, who's made just 15 A-League appearances, is between the posts as deputy for the only long-term injury absentee, Nathan Coe. The experience in defence is provided by Mathieu Delpierre, a Bundesliga winner with Stuttgart. And the front 4 of Barbarouses, Finkler, Kalfala and Berisha have 31 goals between them this season. Former Sydney FC player Mark Milligan captains the team. Now, Sydney FC also unchanged from the side that defeated Adelaide United last week, which means Matt German could match up against his old Brisbane teammate Basar Berisha. The supply lines come through Sydney's Player of the Year, Milos Dimitrijevic, and the goals have been delivered of late by Bernie Abini and Alex Bross, the captain, 10 in the last 4. Marquee man Mark Yanko leads the line. He's the Golden Boot winner with 16, but none in his last 5, and he may well be playing his final game in Sky Blue today. Similarly, Archie Thompson, 5-goal hero of Victory's 2007 title success, is out of contract after today. He has 14 goals in 27 against the Sky Blues. Shane Smeltz for Sydney, a remarkable 15 in 19 against Victory, including 4 this season alone. Well, it's a stunning day in Melbourne for the grand final. Blue skies, pleasant temperatures, around 20 degrees, and the pitch is pristine as well, despite a game of rugby league being played here last night. There is nothing between these clubs this season. Each of the 3 games in the regular campaign have ended in draws. 17 of the 34 in total have ended all square. We must have a winner today. Well, what a wonderful sight Amy Park is today. This is how far Australian football has come in just 10 short years. Johnny Warren, who would have turned 72 today, would be rightly proud. This was one of his visions, and the stands packed tightly at either end. Navy blue of Melbourne Victory and sky blue representing Sydney FC. break for the team photos. Sydney FC have 4 players with prior experience of the big occasion. Seb Ryle, Bernie Abini, Alex Brosk and Shane Smeltz, who is among the substitutes. And between them, they've won 4 and lost 2. Victory have 4 players as well with previous grand final experience. Barisha, Thompson, who's on the bench, Broxham and Barbarouses, and between that quintet, they've won 6 of their 8 finals. Kevin Muscat coaching his first grand final, but he was, of course, captain of all 3 of Victory's previous grand final teams, and missed a penalty in the shootout loss to Sydney FC in 2010. Should he win today, he'll become the first in the A-League era to lift the trophy as both player and coach. And Graham Arnold, the first coach to take 2 teams to a grand final. He both won and lost one with the Mariners. He and Muscat, old friends and now foes. Melbourne Victory getting the ball rolling. The 10th A-League Grand Final. There's the first challenge, going live to 57 countries around the world. And it is, Andy Harper, a fitting finale to round out the first decade of the new competition.
Well, I couldn't agree more, Simon. The ground looks magnificent. The weather is fantastic. Very vocal and colourful fans. The 2 best teams in the competition. And it's all set to go here. The time for speculation and prognostication has passed, and the players can do their talking. And what a mighty set of footballers we have on show here today.
Well, let's talk calculation. Harps, how have you managed to arrive in your head as to who's going to win this? Because they haven't been split at all this season.
No, and I thought I'd get in first, Simon. By the time for speculation is finished. All week we've been trying to separate these teams, and I haven't heard anyone convincingly do it. It's a gut feel coming into it, and now we just have to see who settles best and who plays the best.
First real work for Lawrence Thomas. Now Milligan. Looking to bend it round. It is a beautiful release for Costa Barbarouses. Can he find the right cross? And he has Barisha available top of the box. Besar Barisha. And Janjetovic was scrambling across, and he got a touch. Corner.
I don't think Barisha hit it cleanly. It might have taken a deflection at the top of the area. This is quite sublime from Mark Milligan. The question as to whether Costa Barbarouses was on or offside. The assistant was comfortable. It was a beautiful pass from the Victory skipper. And here Barisha looks to get the shot on goal. It wasn't a powerful one. It took the deflection off Fatih. In any event, and the corner results.
Which Finkler will take in front of the mass ranks of the Victory fans. At the Olympic end of the grounds. Flat delivery. And Jared Gillett rules that came off Nikola Petkovic last, which again is disputed. Again, Del Pierre looks at the near post. It goes deep to the nuts, and Janjetovic didn't make it.
Under the heat of attention from Mark Milligan again. Beautiful corner from Finkler. Janjetovic looked the favourite at this point. Milligan's making a nuisance of himself from these set pieces early. Terrific run from the skipper, lost his marker, got into the one-on-one confrontation with the goalkeeper.
Barbarouses, and now Broxham. Trajovic being hassled from behind by Milligan. Sydney want the foul, but nothing given. Finkler to slip it through. It's Costa Barbarouses. And Janjetovic narrowed the angle brilliantly.
Well, first chance saved, first controversy saved. I'm not quite sure how that's not a foul on Milos Dimitrijevic. But Milligan again, up to his armpits in the action. And in the end, the chance squandered, you'd have to say, by Melbourne Victory.
Early possession stats, and the 27 minutes played, 71% of the ball in favour of Victory.
It's been a stunning opening half hour by Melbourne Victory. Matt German now has been sent off. Not literally. He's been told to get that wound.
I thought you'd seen something I hadn't, Aaron.
He's on the sideline now. This will be an ongoing problem. The doctor's now going to have to work overtime.
I'd imagine if he can get through to half-time, they might even put a stitch in that. It looks a very deep gash, doesn't it?
It's just going to keep trickling the blood, and he's going to have some more permanent or semi-permanent work done on that. It's been a stunning opening half hour. 72% of possession. A lot of it telling, pressurised possession as well. Sydney FC stretch. They're just being monstered at the moment. Completely and utterly monstered by Melbourne Victory.
German is able to re-enter the fray, which means Tavares can inch forward into his defensive midfield role. Weight of possession continues in favour of Victory, and now Grant's in trouble. He's picked up the yellow card for leaving the foot dangling in on Fahid Ben Kalfala.
And Nick Ansell's down in back play as well. They're dropping like flies here at the moment. Nick Ansell's complaining of an elbow. Ryan Grant's picked up a yellow card. And Ansell's not complaining about his elbow, he's complaining about an elbow to his head. It's been a tough battle.
Oh, he'd have loved to play in it, wouldn't he, Kevin Muscat? He's got a whack to the nose as well, Nick Ansell. Having the plugs applied, which rarely too comfortable.
Well, this is
a war of attrition.
This is reminding me of the days of yore, Simon.
He's going to have to change that shirt as well. Well, it could be that sort of a day when it's last man standing. So much at stake. Finkler drives in the free kick and Yanko meets it well. Georgievski. Now Kalfala. Finkler trying to give him an option. Kalfala finds the room for the cross somehow. Expertly done. Broxton. Kalfala's not going to get there. Change of jersey for Nick Ansell.
Well, if you've just tuned in, you're watching the Hyundai A-League Grand Final. You're not watching a boxing match. This is reflecting the rumble in the jungle. Muhammad Ali on the ropes in Zaire. A Sydney FC looking to emulate the great man because they're getting pummeled at the moment.
Well, both teams literally spilling blood for the cause. Dimitrijevic contesting it with Finkler. And Petkovic.
What I will say, Simon, without the goalkeepers having to make a save, this has been gripping. The intensity in the stadium, the application of Melbourne Victory and the resilience of Sydney FC to have hung on to this point. Gripping theatre here at Amy.
There's been a feeling this week, Andy, that the longer the game remained goalless, the more it might favour Sydney FC. Are you in that camp?
Well, like I said, the speculation's fine. I don't think anyone anticipated such a barrage early. Yes, the talk was about Melbourne Victory coming out strong and starting well early, but no one could have imagined. Look at that. Just incredible. The action areas. I didn't imagine Sydney FC to be under this sort of pressure and to have their very good midfield completely starved of any meaningful possession. Tell me a pass that Milos Dimitrijevic has secured. Tell me a release out of the back four that Mikhail Tavares has received and then redistributed. It just hasn't happened. It's like dropping a fire blanket on something. They've been amazing, Melbourne Victory, in this opening half hour.
No reward for that domination as yet. Brosk. Chested down by Yanko. Beanie doesn't have a moment to settle on the ball. Barbarouses. Broxham continuing his run down the right. Should be seen off by Nikola Pekovic. He's a little bit unsure as to what to do with it. He's giving it straight to Barbarouses, who fires it across. And here's Berisha! Bessar Berisha creates history by scoring a third grand final. This is his stage. And he really fails to deliver. Victory 1-0.
Well, the pressure finally has told, and the stadium has verily gone off. But the A-League's most chilling executioner arrives on stage and on cue for Melbourne Victory. A quite blissful finish in the helter-skelter start that this has been. A fortuitous interchange between he and Brazilian Guy Finkler. It didn't look like it was going to cause too much trouble, but as the ball swings to his left, he just lasers in on that back corner, and Bessar Berisha sends Victory 1 clear.
Oh, goodness me. That's a goal of pure striking instinct and quality. Only a half chance. The ball bobbling around. Next minute, it's nestling in the corner. What a strike. And Victory had the reward for that early possession and dominance. And it just had to be him.
Yes, it did. I mean, he is the quintessential big man player. Scored in semi-final night in the Melbourne Derby. This is, as you say, Simon, the stuff that can't be coached. Look at the look on his eye, the Albanian. As soon as he hit it, he knew. And what a great camera angle of that simply great finish. Beautiful touch to set it up. Janjetovic with no opportunity to save it.
This is Ryle. Dimitrijevic again with Milligan right on his hammer. It's been a tactic that's been used to really good effect by Melbourne Victory. Stop the playmaker. Yanko's nipped it ahead of Del Pierre. Brosk and Naumov immediately make their way towards the edge of the penalty area, and when Dimitrijevic does get some space, wouldn't you know it, his touch is unsure.
Rare thing. He's been beaten to a pulp here in the first half. Milos Dimitrijevic.
Into first half stoppage time, of which there will be 2 minutes. Petkovic desperately trying to keep pace with the tricky Costa Barbarouses. Sydney FC have sorted that particular problem out. Or have they? Yeah, they get the whistle. Kevin Muscat going ballistic down beneath us. He's calmed down fractionally just for the moment, but Chris Griffiths-Jones again copping a real blast, the fourth official.
Well, it's a crucial half-time period coming up. Haven't seen enough of Tavares. Victory have not allowed him into the game. Kevin Muscat is going to have to work overtime at half-time to make sure the team stays as they are at the moment, which is in championship form.
Georgievski injecting himself into the attack, and it'll break kindly for Kalfala.
So too, Sydney FC, Graham Arnold, who can pull a rabbit out of his hat as a coach. We've seen it plenty of times. We've seen this fixture swing on the half-time team talk. A couple of adjustments here or there.
Beatty trying to get clear of Milligan, which he does. Last few weeks there has been a whirling dervish in and around the penalty area. Scored goals for fun. There's no way forward at the moment. Lays it off for Petkovic, who belts his cross way too deep, much to the disappointment of his coach. One in the air by Ryle. Brosk is first for the loose ball, and now Yanko and Brosk! Good effort, good save, Lawrence Thomas. First real action for the young goalkeeper. and he stood up well.
Brilliant. Brilliant from Lawrence Thomas. Brilliant from Yanko and Brosk.
And that'll do for the first half, which has been gripping in its intensity. And here was the final action, Andy Harper.
Great contact from Brosk, and Lawrence Thomas has been watching his very good team do their stuff the whole game. And that virtually is his first touch of the game, and it's a crucial one.
Well, a fantastic opening period, and Kevin Muscat is halfway to leading his team to what would be a third championship. Bessart Berisha with what at the moment is the title-winning goal. We'll see what Sydney FC have in the second half. At the break, Melbourne victory 1, Sydney FC 0. And the big question is, what have Sydney FC got left? They were battered, Andy Harper, from pillar to post. They've suffered injuries as well. They've lost Jacques Fati. And good news for Graham Arnold. They have come from behind on 4 previous occasions this season. Of course, they haven't lost an away game since they lost in the finals here against Victory, April 2014.
Indeed, Simon, it was a searching examination for Sydney FC in that first half.
They made a poor start, given away carelessly by Matt German, and Berisha will clip it over towards Milligan, who didn't really get hold of it, the former Sydney FC player.
And very relieved, Matthew German just puffs out the cheeks and looks to the heavens because it was his giveaway. Lost his footing slightly, lost his touch completely. Berisha just chipped it to the far post. There's the run of Milligan, ghosting wide of Ryan Grant at right fullback. Didn't collect the volley when he might have. Very good technical player, Mark Milligan. Might have done better there. Sydney FC were under a lot of pressure last week against Adelaide, Simon.
We'll see how this develops, because this is an awkward bouncing ball for German again, and there's push and shove with Barbarouses! Goodness me! How did that stay out? He can't believe it. Neither can the Victory fans, but Matt German got in a tangle once again.
Well, it's from nothing, really. German should easily have been the better man here physically, but he just lost his bearings completely. Janjetovic knew next to nothing about it. Or so too on that replay. Matt German. 2 early escapes for Sydney FC. And Matt German's relief only magnified.
Well, Graham Arnold's team living dangerously here. Finkler whips it in, it comes off a Sydney head, partly away by Tavares, dropped to the shoulder by Barbarouses, and tidied up this time by Matt German, who'll feel a little bit better after that more sure touch.
They just can't get into any rhythm. Look at that last contribution of Mark Bianco, who's fought hard here today. But a little angled pass into the marquee man for Sydney on halfway. He's got heaps of time and heaps of quality, but he didn't have the comfort or the confidence to keep the ball and open up the other side of the field, and he gave it away.
Down the line by Pekovic, Smelts. It's also tight in there again. Loose ball favours Valeri, now Tavares. Look at Milligan again. He has busted a gut at every opportunity. Not the surest touch by Berisha. He's really tried to lead by example, the Victory skipper. Here he is again, stroking it out towards Kalfala. Georgievski's on his bike. Here's Fahid Ben Kalfala, and it's straight at the goalkeeper. Such an exciting player, and he's in that sort of mood.
And again, the opportunity was put for Melbourne Victory because of poor play out of the back from Sydney FC, and that's the only invitation the Tunisian needs.
Goal attempts to just 1 for Sydney FC for the home team. And here's Milligan again. Bundled over by Smelts, and Jared Gillett's going to go to his pocket. Yellow for the substitute.
Well, again, it was a great effort by Shane Smelts, even if the referee saw a foul, which I agree with. And Milligan bursting through, attacking the, stopping the attacking opportunity. But again, it was Dimitrijevic who lost the ball in midfield. Sydney turned around. Milligan, I want what he's on.
Well, he's been given licence, hasn't he, to get forward, Mark Milligan, today. The Sydney sider playing against his hometown club. And listen to the noise around Amy Park. That's a fair way out, this free kick. You wouldn't bet against Guy Finkler. And he blasts it, and it's on target, but Janjetovic had a good view all the way through. Now there's confirmation of the crowd today, 29,843, almost capacity, and that is a new Amy Park record.
I haven't been in a match, watching a match that Milos Dimitrijevic has been so ineffectual. For that, you have to give enormous credit to what Melbourne Victory have done here. Just high energy output.
Abini. He's been a shadow of himself in recent weeks as well, but Grant will launch it in, and there's Yanko! What a chance for Sydney. Lawrence Thomas is grateful that the ball wasn't another metre or two further away from him.
Yeah, and look, Nick Ansell goes to the near post, loses the flight completely, makes good contact. Yanko, but I think the telling point was he had to stop and make the power. He couldn't run onto the ball. When you look at it, Simon, the only goalkeeper to have had to make a save, in inverted commas, is Lawrence Thomas twice. Brosk in the first half, Yanko now. Janjetovic, has he had to make a save? He's had to come and...
One in the first half.
Right, a number of clearances.
And one in this half.
Yeah,
Went straight out from Kalfala.
Yeah.
Melbourne Victory, no win in their last 7 against Sydney FC. They're within 10 minutes of winning the grand final. Yanko. Smelts. Again, Victory. Dig it out. Georgievski puts his boot through it. Ooh, a loose ball favour here. Yanko's been felled by Ansell, and Jared Gillett spotted it.
Well, he made something from nothing. Again, Sydney FC, just the best they can do at the moment is to get a foot in front, a toe to the ball, and try and stay in the fight. There's Yanko. That's the foul by Ansell on Yanko. He's given him very little room, Nick Ansell. Today it's been a key battle. 14 fouls conceded by Melbourne Victory in the second half. It tells part of the story, but Sydney haven't really looked like making the most of one of these free kicks.
No Nikola Pekovic this time. He's been waved away. Dimitrijevic assuming control. Where it goes for Antonis. Now it's with Pekovic. Well, again, very, very disappointing from Graham Arnold's team's point of view. He can't believe it.
No, it's hard to believe. Good players who've had really good seasons have been completely outplayed here today. Their confidence has been so drained. The opportunities just roll over the sideline continuously.
Well, they've seen their team. So they have the life squeezed out of them by this ultra-effective Melbourne Victory performance, but can they get the job done? There's still 8 minutes to go. Loose ball favours Barbarouses here. Costa Barbarouses, Kalfala, Barbarouses, save first time, Barbarouses! That should do it for the Victory! Surely they're heading for the trophy now, Kevin Luskin's team! And Costa Barbarouses has the goal that his display has deserved. 2-0!
Well, famously, teams have come back from 2 goals down on Championship Day in the Hyundai A-League, but you just can't see it here. They've been so dominant. Barbarouses profiting off the turnover from skipper Alex Brosk. The first effort on goal seen away by Janjetovic. Kalfala composed. Janjetovic did his best, but it wasn't good enough in the second time round. And Costa Barbarouses, the outside of that very trusty right foot, has surely sealed it for the Victory. in what has been a totally dominant performance otherwise.
And he has been terrific. Scored that wonderful volley against Melbourne City last week in the semis. Now one on the big day itself. And the cry of "We are champions" rings around Amy Park. Well, not yet. Well, they're not far off. And Graham Arnold, who saw one title disappear when his team was 2 goals up a couple of years back to Brisbane when he was with the Mariners, now has to try and engineer a similar type of escape act. It's not looked likely today, Andy. It's not quite done yet for victory. Pekovic. Antonis. Dimitrijevic. They need something quickly, Sydney FC. And the whole ground rising as one as Rashid Mahazi prepares to make a late entrance into this grand final.
Well, that last pass out from Sydney FC sort of sums up the day. If you needed one example, they've come apart at the seams completely. Sky Blues, Graham Arnold, this one will hurt. The coach so meticulous in his planning. His team has been pantsed completely.
And Berisha, who started the journey for them in the first half, battling away with Pekovic. Roxon for Finkler. He's about to be substituted, we understand. A little bit of an insurance policy, perhaps, bringing on a more defensively minded Rashid Mahazi for the final few minutes.
We're also going to get a taste of Archie Thompson mania to close things out, which, given the context of the match, you'd have to say is totally appropriate.
Kalfala. Delpierre. Finkler. Finkler trying to make a dart, but he won't retrieve it before it crosses the whitewash. And that may be his final involvement. Archie Thompson being ready too. He's not going to be first cab off the rank. Change is confirmed. Mahazi for Finkler. Played his part today, and of course all season. The assist leader in the Hyundai League in the regular season. Takes his leave, big job done. And on comes Rashid Mahazi. Still have a bit of a job to do. I can tell you the trophy has just made its appearance down on the sidelines. Quick polish for it. Barbarouses the meat in the sandwich. The arm of Valeri, free kick Sydney. And he's going to be booked, Carl Valeri. It's going to be his second for kicking the ball away. He's off. Well, that's hugely disappointing for Carl Valeri. And a silly way, really, to end an otherwise celebratory grand final for Melbourne victory. They're going to finish it with 10 men.
Well, he's going to say that he couldn't hear the referee. I mean, it's probably a defendable position given the noise at Amy Park.
So Carl Valeri becomes the 6th man to be dismissed in a grand final. It probably won't affect the results. It'll just a little blot on the enjoyment of his day, no doubt. And we're about to see Archie Thompson. 2 minutes remaining. And I'll tell you what, this is going to lift the roof off. it may be the last time we see Archie Thompson in navy blue. The rumour is he may be on his way after 209, about to become 210 appearances for his only A-League club. He is a legend in these parts. Mind you, it's not a bad time to be coming on, 2-0 up in a grand final, 90 seconds to go. Antonis. Kalfala sidesteps Dimitrijevic with ease. It's 3-on-3. Lee Broxham busting a gut to make it 4. Kalfala slides it through. It's Lee Broxham! Game over! The grand final won for Melbourne Victory through Lee Broxham. And Amy Park is all navy blue.
Well, is there a more deserving Melbourne Victory player in what now is surely this championship season? The 10th of the Hyundai A-League. Milos Dimitrijevic run past as though he wasn't even there by Vahid Ben Kalfala, who shaped to shoot himself. The dummy bought time for the charging run of Lee Broxham, who thrashes the ball home at the near post. Unsavable, this one. Unstoppable today, Melbourne Victory. A third championship. And Archie Thompson about to enjoy his part in it as well.
Legend about to enter the stage as another one of the heroes today departs. He's done his job, scored in a third grand final. He wants to start the party already. And listen to the noise for this man. Is the consolation for Sydney. Not via that route.
Well, Simon, you open the telecast with the line from Paul Keating. If you're not in Sydney, you're camping out. Well, the same Prime Minister said of one of his election victories, this is the sweetest of them all. And I'd reckon those words will be echoing in the fans. So gathered are they here today of Melbourne Victory. What a performance.
You've got to pay huge credit to Kevin Muscat. He's got his tactics bang on today. They've roughed up Sydney, not allowed them a moment's peace as Nick Ansell takes his leave. So Jason Guerrier can get a taste of the A-League atmosphere as well. It's been all victory today. And the Sky Blues have just had no answers.
And I'm not sure if you agree with me, Simon, but there hasn't been a more one-sided grand final in the 10 we've watched.
Well, maybe victory in Adelaide in season 2.
There were circumstances around that.
Yeah.
And it's right that you should raise that.
Talking of raising, the A-League trophy is going to be raised here shortly by Melbourne Victory. And then they're going to take it next door to the Fan Festival for the thousands of supporters who are unable to get tickets here today. It's going to be quite a party for the home team. There's the treasured piece of silverware, affectionately known as the old golden toilet seat.
Well, it's been well won here today by Melbourne Victory. Awesome, mind-blowing, and totally dominant.
Barbarouses, fittingly perhaps, involved in what may be the final play of the day. And then in the free kick.
Now, what an effort from Kevin Muscat.
First full season,
you know,
as coach.
This has been a team brilliantly put together. This has been a team brilliantly prepared. And this has been a team brilliantly aimed up. They have not let off all game. What a performance, Kevin Muscat. Simply brilliant. And players to match. Barbarousa's outstanding. Milligan, peerless today, in my opinion.
Well, is there icing on the cake here for Melbourne Victory? They're not too eager to throw bodies forward. They're happy to put the cue in the rack, perhaps, unless Calfella's going to have a pop at goal himself. He is. And there it is. The A-League has a navy blue hue once again after 6 years. Melbourne Victory are the champions of Australia for a record-equalling third time. Kevin Muscat, the first man to lift the crown as both player and coach, as he seals the double in his first full season as coach. Joy for Victory, heartbreak for Sydney, who are defeated on the road for the first time this season. And it just had to come in the biggest game of all. Revenge for Victory for that final loss in this city 5 years ago. It is victory for Victory in the 10th Hyundai A-League Grand Final as national coach Ange Postecoglou, once the squire of this parish, looks on no doubt with pride. Victory far too good today. Goals from Bessart Barisha in the first half, and then late on from Costa Barbarouses, and in the final moments from Lee Broxson. Sydney tried, they toiled, they had nothing today. Kevin Muscat and Melbourne Victory, the deserving winners of the A-League title for season 10. Full-time scoreline here at AAMI Park in front of that record crowd. Melbourne Victory 3, Sydney FC 0.
We'll now present the Hyundai A-League 2015 champions, Melbourne Victory. Please welcome the players from Melbourne Victory to the stage. Number 2, Jason Guerrier. Number 4, Nicholas Sansel. Number 6, Lee Broxham. Number 7, Guy Finkler. Number 8, Bessart Barisha. Number 9, Costa Barbarouses. Number 10, Archie Thompson. Number 11, Connor Payne. Number 14, Fahid Ben Kalfala. Number 15, Daniel Georgievski. Number 16, Rashid Mahazi. Number 17, Mathieu Delpierre. Number 20, Lawrence Thomas. Number 21, Carl Valeri. Number 40, Michael Turnbull. The head coach, Kevin Muscat. And finally, the captain of Melbourne Victory, Mark Milligan.